Okay, so we're diving deep today into speak simple, speak confident. Thanks for sharing those excerpts with us. They were really interesting.
Yeah, really cool choice.
Yeah, and we want to kind of pull out the key ideas that'll help you feel more confident, more self-assured when speaking English, right?
Right.
So, the core message of this source is pretty clear. It's about prioritizing simple, direct communication
Hmm.
over complex words and perfect grammar.
Yeah.
Have you ever, found yourself sort of hesitating to speak because you were worried about, finding just the right sophisticated word,
Oh yeah,
like
holding
that,
back. Yeah.
like trying to sound smart and then it just comes out all jumbled?
Right, exactly. And that's kind of what this source gets at, which is really interesting.
It's funny how it immediately tackles that idea that, bigger words equal better communication.
Yeah.
It's almost like it flips it on its head. It's
Yeah.
like, no, the most effective speakers use shorter, more powerful sentences.
And this simplicity isn't just easier for the listener.
Right.
It actually frees you to focus on your core message,
Yeah.
and that actually reduces anxiety and it boosts confidence.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's like when you're trying to think of the perfect word, it takes away from just getting your message across clearly.
It does.
And the source gives this really great example, comparing, the phrase, I am experiencing difficulties in understanding this concept,
Right.
with just saying, I don't understand.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's like, wow, it's so much more
The
straightforward.
night and day.
Yeah, and so the source, kind of builds on this idea of clarity and offers, some really practical examples of simple phrases that you can use right away. Things like "How are you today?" or "Can you help me, please?"
Yeah. And what I think is really powerful about those seemingly basic phrases is, they're like the bedrock of social interaction.
Right.
Like mastering those phrases removes a significant mental hurdle. It lets you engage more freely.
Right, and they're universally understood. So
Exactly.
you don't have to worry about like getting it wrong.
Yeah, you don't have to overthink it.
Right.
And the source correctly points out that practicing these foundational sentences
Yeah.
builds familiarity and crucially builds your confidence in using them,
Yeah.
without hesitation.
So it becomes more automatic.
Exactly, more natural.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And then the source kind of gives this little snippet of a real life conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, how are you? I'm good. How about you?
Hmm.
I'm great. What are you doing? I'm reading a book. It's very interesting.
Right.
Such a fundamental exchange,
Totally.
but it really highlights how clear and understandable everyday English can be.
Absolutely. And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, I think what this dialogue really underscores
Yeah.
is that effective communication isn't about, you know, showing off your linguistic complexity.
Right.
It's about this clear exchange of information. And by becoming comfortable with these basic conversational building blocks, you can confidently navigate countless everyday situations.
Yeah, and this kind of illustrates this key principle.
Hmm.
It's about prioritizing the receiver's understanding.
Right.
By using fewer, clearer words, the message lands with greater impact.
Absolutely. Less is more.
Yeah, and that brings us to, I think, a really vital point that the source makes, which is that speaking English is primarily about connecting with others,
Hmm.
not about reaching some, impossible standard of perfection.
Right. And this often brings up the fear of making mistakes,
Yeah.
but the source addresses this directly,
Yeah.
by emphasizing that every time you speak,
Mm.
it's a step forward.
It's practice.
It's practice, exactly. It's about seeing errors not as failures, but as learning opportunities
Right.
that help you improve over time.
Yeah, and I think that that's really empowering. And the source says so clearly, your voice matters, your words matter.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah, and it shifts the focus from being, technically flawless. Mm-hmm.
To being understood, which I think is the real goal.
Absolutely.
Can you think of a time when, like, fear of making a mistake held you back from speaking up?
Oh, so many times. Early in my career, especially, big meetings, important presentations,
Right.
just terrified of saying the wrong thing.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But you know what? The more I spoke, the less that fear controlled me.
Exactly.
And this book really reinforces that idea.
So the core takeaway here is that by focusing on simplicity and clarity in your spoken English,
Yes.
you're not just making it easier for others to understand,
Right.
but you're also building your own confidence from the inside out.
I love that. You're
Yeah.
concentrating on effective communication,
Exactly.
which is what truly matters.
And that's why you shared this source, right? You're looking to learn without feeling overwhelmed.
Exactly.
And what Simple Speak Confident lays out is a really accessible approach to doing just that
Mm-hmm.
in spoken English.
It is.
It's about embracing straightforward language.
Yeah. And recognizing that clear communication is always going to be more powerful
Way more.
than complex vocabulary.
Yeah. I think that leads us to a final thought for our listeners today.
Yeah.
Consider how consciously choosing simpler language could immediately change your next conversation.
Hmm.
Make it more effective and boost your confidence more than striving for, that perfect complicated phrasing ever could.
Something to think about.
It is.
Thank you.